Hello Internet, this is Olivierr and today I'm going to be answering one of your questions. So I was going to do another video about this, but I just thought I've already got quite a few videos about this subject and now I'm just repeating myself. So I thought let's explain it in a different way. So I got a message from Mr. Ed Funk and I thought I'd answer it in this video. So basically what he's saying is like the first part of the video when I'm tracing the eyes, where it's all sped up, da 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 da. I'm tracing the eyes without, actually explaining what I'm doing. That's because I've already done it in other videos. So instead, I'm gonna take you over to Photoshop, and this is the one I'm about to do today if the weather starts to behave. And I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm doing without painting, so it's gonna be a bit easier, and hopefully Ed and anybody else, hopefully that'll make more sense. Okay, so to start with, so I've got this picture of, this is an acrobat called Crispin. He's in Australia, and he's got a pretty crazy story. And we started chatting online, and I just thought, this guy's cool, I'm gonna paint him. And anyway, this is the grid that I use, and it's the grid that you can get on my website, on the shop page. I don't know how much it's for, I think it's like £5 or something. Just because it took me so long to do, but you can make your own as well if you want. So I'm just going to explain the grid real quick, and then I'm going to explain why I put it here and how I use it as well. So it's got 10 squares. I think the one I did before had 20, but I thought it was always too much. So 10 squares is kind of cool because when I'm on the wall and I'm sketching with one of these, this is a chalk line, a grid line, you tense it. And then I'm not going to do it here because I'm going to put some on the laptop. But basically when it's nice and tense, then what you do is you pull it, you let it go, and it shows you a line of chalk onto the wall, which is very useful. I buy black and white and mix like a very light gray or light gray, so you don't really see in the pictures. It kind of works for me. Just do whatever works for you. So these 10 squares are divided into 16. So if we look at the A, for example, wait, I think if I turn it down. Hello. So you can see this is one square, but it's also got 16. So it's cut in 4 and it's cut in 4. So it's halfway, then halfway again. And what that allows me to do is when I'm on the wall, I don't have to trace all of these lines that you see. There's just way too many and it's confusing. The only way I could do that, and its possibility depending on a job, would be to have two different one of those. Having one, if this is the example, I could have one in white and one in blue, and have different lines. Sorry. But in most cases, for something like this, I would use a projector because there would be a lot of effort with chalk lines. So I normally don't put it so big like this, but it's just I like the shape of his hair, and I want it. I want to trace it, but I'm only going to trace the outside. And I'm going to trace the features on the inside of his face. All of these lines here, I'm not going to bother doing. I'm just going to sort of have a quick idea. Normally what I would do would be to, make it about this, I guess. And then, hang on a sec. I'm not loving the new Photoshop algorithm, but never mind. So I would do something like this, where you have just, like say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 by 5 or 5 by 4 or something, where I've got just the features that matter. Because if the hair is not in the right place, it doesn't matter so much, the shoulders won't matter so much, but as long as the features in his face are correct, then that would work fine. So to explain, okay, because Ed asked about the eyes, I'm going to talk about the eyes, but it's the same for the nose, the mouth, whatever. So if you look at it like this, and sorry, the quality of the picture you give me is not great, so it's whatever. All right, let me just go back. I just need the layers. Okay, and okay, let me make this one a bit more visible. So, okay, so the white lines are the ones that I would trace with this. And then these ones, the fine grid, this blue one, that's what I wouldn't be tracing. That's what I sort of do in my head kind of thing. So what I would do when I'm painting, let me just get a bit of a bigger one. What was that? Maybe a bit more. Oh, actually, let's do a new layer. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what I would do is, say I've got a square. The reason for doing this way is that it allows me to do limited amount of grid lines, and then I can see what I'm doing. It's not confusing, but at the same time it allows me to be very accurate. So say this eye, for example, I've got CD, I've got four squares, but at the same time I know that here in the middle of, let's put it here, in the middle of this column, this horizontal line between these two columns, this is the middle. And I can see that the middle again would be here, and the eye, this line here, is very close to that mark, and that's what you got to do when you're using a grid. You sort of guess where the lines are going to be. In this one, for example, that's the middle, so this is pretty much 1/4. So the more lines you have, the easier it's going to be. So going to the nose. This is the middle of those boxes, and the nose is pretty much, you know, on this line there. Again, this is almost the middle, so that's kind of cool. Here I'm pretty much on 1/4 and 1/4, so I can trace that. If it lines up on something random, that's the thing, because I've got 16 squares into one. It's kind of easy because it lines up on a 1/4, and again it lines up on half of this one as well again. So you can pinpoint fairly accurately where everything is going to be, and this is how I trace. So I know his question is kind of like basically do another one. It would be easier if you did it normal speed, and so I could see what you're doing. I didn't want to do it like that because it wouldn't answer anything. And this video might be a bit boring, but it's just easier for me to explain this way. So then you can really see what I'm doing. You use the white lines, or the lines that are painted, to see where you are, and then you guess all the others. So when I'm on the wall, what I would do, say I'm working on this portion of the mouth, let me get rid of this. What I would do would be to guess. I mean, I look at this point, and I guess where the middle is. I'll do a mark. I'll do another one here, and then I'll do another one here in the middle. Then I'll cut this in the middle. Maybe I'll do that one as well. And then from this, I can look at my phone where I've got this grid, and I can guess, all right, this is the middle again between this line and this line. I can put a line here and here as well. Then I'll connect it. I'll connect this. I'll connect this. That goes here. I'm guessing, all right, this is about 2/3. I connect that. So it's like guessing. It's a guessing game, basically. You know, this goes in here. This goes in here. This is about there. That's about flat. Bam, bam, bam. And then when I take out the grid, where's the grid? Oh, did I sketched on the grid? No. Yes. What am I doing? Okay. So when I take out the grid, then I'm left with this. So I can see, you know, then I can start doing the shading, and it's the same for everything else. So once I've got the grid, I can guess that this is going to be about there. The nose is cutting in the middle, in that part. This is whenever it's a faded line, I don't trace those because it doesn't help me as much. I trace everything that's a clear line, like this black line of the inside of his nose with the beige line on the top of his nose. That's cool. So I do all this. And then once I've got this, then I'm left with this kind of business, which is basically what I have here. What I wanted to show in this video was more about the shading of the eyes, on like how to do the shading of the eyes and stuff. But the tracing, really, I've got other videos about the grids and stuff like that. Once again, I hope this makes sense, but I wanted to explain step by step on Photoshop as opposed to do another painting, which might be confusing. That's it. Thanks a lot for watching. If you still have questions about this, please put them in the section below of this video, and I will try to answer them a bit more accurately again. Thanks a lot. See you guys next Monday. Oh, and actually on Thursday, 1 minute tip. See ya.